out of Egypt. Gave us manna and gave us waters out of our afflictions. Yahweh is king and there is no one besides him. Who raised us from dirt, prophesied the dry bones brought strength to our limbs. We say, Yahweh is righteous. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is holy. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is righteous. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is holy. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is righteous. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is holy. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is righteous. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is holy. We say, Yahweh be magnified. Let Yahweh be magnified. 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 Yahweh is righteous. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is holy. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is righteous. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is holy. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is righteous. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is holy. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is righteous. Oh, Yah. Yahweh is holy. Oh. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah.
Yeah, 39 books. Yeah, come on. Yo, seek ye out the book of Yah and read. Speak these words to plant your holy seed. Obey his voice, know him and believe. Understand his Yah is none but he. In the beginning, he told us the ending that we wasn't winning because of the sinning. The 400 sentence of Shiloh's descendants needed repentance, and this is our genesis to our exodus in Leviticus. Learn with some respect on this, so we can number our days. The teachers that we was the slaves in Deuteronomy 28, the most popular. When he anointed Joshua, it's proving that Yah love us by sending his judges, rejecting the grudges, embracing the truth. Other nations, the truth is shown through Ruth, the woman that David come through. Pete Samuel 1 and 2. Yah's chosen the kings and you one too. Recognition Chronicles in the first and the second. And Ezra HaKohen, fastened by the river Ahava, stood with Nehemiah in the time of Hadassah, better known as Esther. Job struck with disease and boils that festered. And we giving our alms while singing Hebrew songs. The most wisest words are spoken in Proverbs. The Colette, the teacher, ecclesiastical preacher. Fellas wanna reach up, quote the songs belong to Solomon. Understand the way that I'm on. Isaiah, Jeremiah, lamented when Jerusalem fell. Also seen by Ezekiel, vision vividly given to Daniel. God said return to him in prayer.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to the Holy One of Israel, to the Creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is, by saying hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous. Yah is holy. And let Yahweh be magnified. Once again, the Creator has allowed us to come before you another day, bringing to you his great, holy, and exalted words, even the words of truth. My name is Moreh Ishaya Yisrael of the House of Israel, located right here in Cincinnati, Ohio, 22:30 Kemper Lane, bringing to you nothing but the truth. And yes, it is true. All we're going to do is tell you the truth. For Yah ordained me to tell you the truth, and this is what I'm going to do. And who is this Yah? Yah is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is. Yah is the Elohim of our fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yisrael, whom you may know as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yah is our king, he's our judge, he's our lawgiver, and Yah is our only Savior, and not just of Israel. Yah is the Savior of the world. And I praise the mighty Yah for another great opportunity to bring to you his great, holy, and exalted words. Seemed like it's been a while since I've been on Nothing But the Truth, but I'm very pleased and happy to be back. But I learned a great deal while I was absent by learning from the other teachers. And I praise the mighty Yah for that. This week, although as many of you all know, we've been bringing to you the Law of Moses. Remember ye the Law of Moses study guide to help you to bring forth. As the Creator said, he will magnify the law and make it honorable. And these laws must be made honorable. Our people don't have a clue when it comes to how dishonorable we as a people have not only become, but how we even look at the law. We will see a law in the scriptures, not looking at it in the honor in which it was given to us for, but we will look at the law as something old, something inferior, something that's just for this family and not for that family, for this person and not for that person, this group and not for that group. There's no honor at all in that. Yahweh said the law of Yahweh is perfect. It's perfect. As a matter of fact, the law teaches us that this is the only way we can become perfect. The Almighty told all our foreparents as well as us by law, walk before me and be thou perfect. And how can one be perfect without the law? Tonight, we will not be dealing with the study guide, but we will be dealing with the law this week. Of course, we let our people know we will be traveling to take the study guide to our people to magnify the law and make it honorable, but we're still going to magnify the law even though we're not necessarily dealing with the study guide. Tonight we will be dealing with the law of thy mother. Now, have you ever heard of the law of thy mother? Most people haven't. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you 7 different laws that you will not read in the book of the law. You won't read it in the book of Genesis and Exodus and Leviticus, Numbers, or Deuteronomy. But they laws. And we're going to show you and break down what these laws mean. Now, they have everything to do with the book of the law because they the word of Yahweh. But I just wanted to show you these things so that you can see that all through the scriptures, if you put your heart to it, put your mind to it, put your soul to it, put your spirit to it, that Yahweh will teach you how to stand before him. And the first law we're going to bring to you outside of the 5 books of Moses is called the law of thy mother. Why is that the first one? Well, who do you think is your children's first teacher? Who do you think will come in contact with your children first and foremost? What voice will they hear first? Whose touch will they feel first? Whose language will they get familiar with? Whose smell will they smell first? Yes, the mother. And she plays a very vital role in the rearing and raising of the children. As a matter of fact, she plays the first role. And that's why it's so important to understand the law of thy mother. Let me show you where you're going to read this at. Even before I show you that, in the book of Genesis, let us turn there. Talking about the law of thy mother. Here it is. We got laws that people ain't never heard of. You got other people who call themselves Israel, talking about it, 613 laws, and they don't have a clue how many laws it is because they don't know what a law is. They can't teach you the laws, the commandments, statutes, and judgments of the Most High because the Creator never gave anyone else these laws, commandments, statutes, and judgments for them to teach. He only gave it to Israel. Always remember that. And you'll read that in the book of Psalm 147. We'll go there. But right now, I just want you to see how life is ordered. Watch this. In the book of Genesis, the 2nd chapter, we're talking about the law of thy mother. One of the first laws that I seen outside of the 5 books of Moses. In the book of Genesis, the 2nd chapter, watch what this is. And I'm going to start reading at the 21st verse. And Yahweh Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yahweh Elohim had taken from man made he a woman and brought her to man. And Adam said, watch what Adam said. Watch the wisdom that he's given. This is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Now you notice after Adam said, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, she shall be called woman, because she was taken. It didn't say she was taken out of the earth. It didn't say she was taken out of a lab or a test tube. It didn't say she was taken out of the house. She was taken out of him. Woman come from man, which let you know a woman. How can I come from the Most High and then after coming from the Most High, I had no honor, no respect, no love for the Most High, in which who made me? Here it is, a woman come out of a man. You got some women say they hate men. They can't deal with men. Men is this and men is that. Where you think you came from? You came from a man. You part of man. So the contradictory mindset of many women today are totally backwards and full of hypocrisy. But I understand it because most men had not taught a woman her relevance, her purpose. And all women got to know your purpose. Most women are caught up into vanity and vain things. But once you learn your purpose, then you don't have to be caught up no more. You don't have to be sidetracked. You don't have to be distracted. All you have to do is fulfill what you was made to do. You're part of man. And being part of man, what are your responsibilities? Watch what it says. Therefore, shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall go to college. It didn't say that. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and join the army. Nor did it say that. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and go sow his royal oats. No, all the things we have learned in Babylon, this is none of the things that Adam said. When a man leave his father and his mother, he shall join to his wife. In other words, according to our culture, the Hebraic culture, the ways of righteousness, you're supposed to raise your sons in a manner that when it's time for them to leave, when it's time for them to depart their house, their father and their mother, they should be starting another house. They should be starting a family of their own. They should be joining themselves unto a wife and repeat the very thing that they was raised to do, that they seen every day their father and their mother working the family matters, the order of life. And who is this first teacher? Who is this first lawgiver? Yahweh didn't come down and start teaching the children. No, he gave that responsibility to the parents. And who is that first teacher? The mother. No wonder we're talking about the law of thy mother. It's her responsibility. Watch what it says in the book of Proverbs. As I stated, 7 different laws that we're going to talk about this week, that this is outside of the 5 books of Moses. Now, surely in the 5 books of Moses, it definitely tell you, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yah thy Elohim giveth thee. That's a law. But what is the law of thy mother? Well, the law of your mother is your ability to love and to obey her. And we don't know how to obey our mothers. No, our children don't. And this is your first instructor. This is your first teacher. This is your first lawgiver, is your mother. She's the one who's going to tell you how honorable your father is. Or how bad he is, which they shouldn't be telling how bad you are, but they do. But she's the first one that's going to let it be known. She's the first one that's going to let it be known, or the first person that's going to teach you and show you how valuable your health is, because she's the one who has to feed you. Watch what this says. In the book of Proverbs, the 1st chapter, the 8th verse. And watch how this reads. My son, talking to my son, whoever my son is personal. This is your son, my son. Hear the instruction of your father, because he's going to instruct you too. And forsake not the law. And what is the law? Of your mother. Because what she say should be law. What she teach should be law. What she show you should be law. And why? Because this is your mother. Do you know what a mother is? A mother is a part of man. A mother is your protector. A mother is someone who is the foundation of your existence. And how is she the foundation of your existence? Because you came out of her. So how she is how you should be. And if she's strong, you'll be strong. But if she's weak, you will be weak. In every way. In every way. And if you follow the law of your mother, and your mother know that she is the lawgiver, and she don't have time for vanity. And we're going to read that. That she will learn how to instruct you every single day. Because every day matters. Today, when our sons are raised, they're raised in a manner just like Babylon. You got 16-year-old boys, 15-year-old boys, 17-year-old boys, and they just boys. By the time our people in ancient days, they got 15, 16, 17 years old. They were still young, but they were about to be a man. And they knew how to do men things. And they was raised to be men. And they was raised to one day leave to take on a family. But not so today. 15, 16, 17 years, they don't know how to pay no bills. They don't know how to do no real work. They don't know how to take care of no families. They don't know how to raise no babies. They don't know how to do nothing. And why? Because they're not being taught. And not only they're not being taught, they already have developed a rebellion against their mothers. Also in the book of Proverbs, the 6th chapter. Turn there. We're talking about the law of thy mother. In the book of Proverbs 6. 20th verse. Watch what it says. My son, talking about my son, personal. Keep your father's command and forsake not the law of your mother. Bind them continually upon your heart and tie them about your neck. And when you go, it shall lead you. When you sleep, it shall keep you. When you wake, it shall talk with you. And this is how you got to talk to your children. This is how you have to encourage your children, especially your sons when they go to bed and they're scared because their mother not there, their father not there, and they're in another room and they're scared. Well, the law of the mother is to comfort them. I'm right here, son. I'm always right here. I will protect you. Yah will protect you. I got your back. Even though you might not see me, I see you. You comfort them. You assure them. You encourage them. But you teach them. You teach them diligently. And you teach them that what you say is the law. And why? Because they got to live by laws. And the first law they want to live by is the law of thy mother. Because that's what you are. You they mother. And they need to know what you say you mean, and you mean what you say. Who's going to love them more than their mother? Who's going to protect them more than their mother? Who's going to look out for them more than their mother? You carried this baby. You bore this baby. You struggled with this baby. So now you got to teach it, the baby. The hard lessons of life to prepare them. Because even if life had no adversities, life is still hard without adversity, without pitfalls, without tests. It's still hard. But then you include all those things, now life can be terrifying. And who prepares the children first? The mother. Great responsibility is being misused, not taken advantage of. In the book of Proverbs 23, still talking about the law of thy mother. Because when a man leave his father and his mother, it said he shall cleave unto his wife. This is what he got to do. And to do so, you got to teach him something. You got to teach him about a wife. You got to teach him about a woman. You got to teach him about this mother that's part of man. Who going to teach him that? The mother. Son, this is the type of wife you want. This is the type of mother you want to have. This is who you want raising your children, your sons. That's supposed to come from the mother. And I'm going to prove that to you. In the book of Proverbs 23, today, when a woman and a man hook up, they ask nothing about the mother. Many of them don't know the mother. Don't know what type of relationship this man had with his mother. All they know is he looked good and he sound good and he smelled good. But then come to find out he had a terrible relationship with his mother, and now you got him. And that terrible relationship spills right into your relationship. But you never asked about the mother. In the book of Proverbs 23, watch what it says. And I'm going to read starting at the 22nd verse. Listen unto your father that begot you, And despise not your mother when she is old. In other words, a little boy, he'll grow up, get stronger than his mother, get taller than his mother, more weight than his mother. And then he began to start thinking that he's over his mother. But not if she raised him right. See, if he's raised right, he will always fear his mother. He will always honor his mother. He will always be afraid of his mother because that's his mother. And he will be forever trying to please his mother. And we got these young guys who will cuss their mama out. Mama's scared of them. Mama done kicked them out and don't want them back. And we're going to read about these type of guys, who they are. And mamas, I don't want you to be beating yourself down thinking you just did a bad job with your sons. And many of you have. But at the end of the day, it still takes two to tangle. Your sons have responsibilities as well. Again, listen unto your father that begot you. Despise not your mother when she is old. What you despising your mother for? Buy the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom, instruction, and understanding. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice. And he that begets a wise child shall have joy of him. Your father and your mother shall be glad, and she that bore you shall rejoice. And that's what you want. That's when you know you got a good son, because your mother will rejoice. She will rejoice. Look at my son. I'm happy. But then, that's how you know you got a fool. When you're not rejoicing, and all you can do is hold your head down and be sad because you know you bore a fool. You raised a fool. You know a fool. And that fool came from you. And that's not a good feeling at all. At all. But instruction starts with you, mother. It starts with you, not the father. You have to know that this is your responsibility. And you got to know you want a very close relationship with your sons. Not the type of relationship where you see today where the mother intervenes and can tell a grown man what to do. He done left his father and mother, but the mother's still instructing him. That's not no close relationship. That's foolishness. At some point in time, a man got to leave and stand on his own 2 feet and make his own decision. You don't let your mother just come in and telling you any and everything. This is what these little women do. These little young women, they allow their mothers to take their babies. They allow their mama to tell them what to do with their babies and let their mama come because she grandmama. I'm grandmama, and I can tell you this, that, and the other. I don't care who you are. You're not their mama. They the mama. And we're talking about the law of thy mother. You've been the mother. Now it's my time to be the mother. And so now they got to follow my instructions. And this is my son. And this is my daughter. And you can't allow these grandmamas to tell you what to do when you done left and now you're on your own. They can counsel you. They can advise you. But now you're the boss. And we got some, and that's because we depend, when we leave, we leave. Now you got to stand up for your own self. You done left. Now be responsible. That's all. And we got too many young mothers who not responsible. They still holding on the cord like they not mamas. No, you a mama now. You're a mama now. You's old enough to lay down. You's old enough to have a baby. Now be old enough to take the responsibilities that only a mama have. Not your grandmama. Not your aunts. But the mama. In the book of Genesis 24, show you how close knit a mama and a son supposed to be. It is. A lot of mamas, they kicking it with their daughters and cool with their daughters and best friends with their daughters, not realizing you best friends with the wrong one. You're supposed to be best friends with your sons. In the book of Genesis, the 24th chapter, because he's the one that's going to go out and get a wife. And what type of woman you think he's going to get? If you had not instructed him correctly. In the book of Genesis 24, talking about the law of thy mother. What is the law of thy mother? Well, the law of thy mother is her ability to teach you life matters. She's your first instructor. She's your first teacher. She's your first master. She's the first one that will prepare you physically, spiritually, emotionally for the life that you about to endure. And she don't have time for nothing else. Genesis 24. And watch what it says in the 61st verse. And Rebekah arose and her dancers, and they rode upon the camels and followed the man, and the servant took Rebekah and went his way. And Isaac came from the way of the well of Lahariel, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field in the evening. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels was coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel, for she had said to the servant, what man is this that walks in the heat field to meet us? And the servant had said, it is my master. Therefore she took a veil, covered herself, and the servant took Isaac all things that he had done, told Isaac all things he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. In other words, this man, Isaac, this man was 40 years old when he got married. Older guy. And his mother died a few years before him, before he got married. And he was in mourning all the way until he met him a wife. And why? Because that's how close their relationship was. A very close-knitted relationship. And she took the time to prepare him for a wife. Not for the army, not for college, but for a wife. The greatest and most important thing he will do in his life is get a wife. And that's what she prepared him for. And not just Sarah prepared Isaac for this, but also in the book of Genesis 25. And watch what it says in the 21st verse. And Isaac prayed to Yahweh for his wife, who was Rebekah, because she was barren. And Yahweh entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it is so, why am thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said to her, 2 nations are in thy womb. 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy womb. The one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Yaakov. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bore them. And the boys grew. And Esau was a cunning hunter, man of the field. Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in the tents. Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison. But Rebekah loved Jacob. Rebekah loved Jacob. That was his mother. He had a very close-knitted relationship with his mother. So when it was time for them to go out to find their wives, watch what it says in the book of Genesis 26. Watch this. Genesis 26, this is when they went out to find their wives. 26 and 34. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judah, the daughter of Beri, the Hittite, and Bashemet, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite, which were a grief of mine to Isaac and to Rebekah. Here it is. They so grieved just by this wedding, just by this marriage. Why? Because that's like raising some children, and then they say, I don't want to serve Yahweh. You spend all this time raising them right, and then they act like they don't know nothing. And this is what Esau did. And this was a grief of mine to not only Isaac, but also Rebekah, his mother. And of course, they did not want the same fate for Jacob. So this is what they said for Jacob in Genesis 28 and 1. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said to him, you shall not take a wife for the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padam Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father. Take your wife from there, the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. In other words, they was not about to play this same song over again. Because you got to be involved with your sons. And it starts with the mother. That's where it starts. With the mother. It's a very ugly thing when the mother is not involved with their sons in teaching them and showing them, rearing them, letting them know, showing them and demonstrating to them the type of woman that she is. Most little boys go up and get the exact opposite of their mamas. Because all they see from their mama, she just fussing all the time. She mad all the time. She ain't happy all the time. She getting on me all the time. She this all the time. run their mouth all the time, and so they trying to find something different. And the mother is not demonstrating and showing them, no, I'm trying to teach you, I'm trying to show you who you want for your sons and daughters. So I'm instructing you so that you can find a woman that will instruct your children, and they will follow her law. Watch what this says in the book of Proverbs 31. Still talking about the law of thy mother. Watch what it says. Proverbs 31:1. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. See, this is his mother taught him this long before he became king, long before he became a man, long before this took place. You can't teach a man this in a few days and a few months and a few years and then he get it. No, you got to raise them in this way for them to get it. Watch what it says. Second verse. What, my son? And what? The son of my womb. And what? The son of my vows. In other words, she's teaching him things from a little age. Young person, young baby, growing up. Give not your strength unto women. Now, why would a woman say that to her son? Because she's the first teacher. And she know the pitfalls of a man. And if you know the pitfall of a man, the first thing you're going to teach a man is watch women. Because that's where you're going to be. That's where you're going to be at your weakest. That's where you're going to become vulnerable. That's where you're going to be most tested. Here it is. We would tell, don't, if you see a stranger, just walk on the other side of the street. Or if you see somebody you don't know, don't do this. Not realizing the enemy is not another man. It's a woman. But this mother knew this. Watch what it says. Give not your strength unto women, nor your ways to that which destroys kings. And there's a lot of things that will destroy a king. And it's going to name some of these things. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink. And then it's going to tell you why. Lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. In other words, when you have a position of responsibility, then you got to learn that there's certain things you can't do. There's certain places you just can't go. There's certain behaviors you can't exhibit. There's certain ways you can't think. And why? Because it's not for a king to do so. But it's not also for a mother to do so. It's not also for a father to do so. In other words, depending on your responsibility, depending on your position, depending on the purpose in which you was designed and made for, will dictate what you can and cannot do. And you got to know this. And this mother undoubtedly was a teacher. And she laid down the law to her son. Why didn't it say her daughter? Well, didn't you read the scripture where it says, when a man leave his father and his mother, he shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one? She prepared him to do, to be, even as she and her husband was. And all he has to do is duplicate, repeat that greatness, that blessing. If he understands the law of his mother. And everybody don't understand that law. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine to those that are of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. But this is what you should do. See, when your mind is right, open your mouth for the dumb and the cause of all such as are pointed to destruction. In other words, you always looking out for the helpless, for the afflicted, for the oppressed. Open your mouth. Judge righteously. Plead the cause of the poor and needy. That's what you should be doing. But you know who should be teaching you that? Your mother. That's who you will become. But the lesson came from your mother. And that's the key. Because we're talking about the law of thy mother. She's supposed to be royally, diligently involved with her sons. We got this whole thing backwards in Babylon. The first lesson is coming from the mother. The first law is coming from the mother. And today, as a result of us not fulfilling the days of old, y'all said, remember the days of old, the years of many generations. And since we don't, let me show you what happens. In the book of Proverbs, the 10th chapter, just a few more scriptures. In the book of Proverbs 10, watch what it says, the first verse. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. All you got to do is look back and look at the mothers and look if they all sick and broken up and messed up and just full of misery. Just look at their sons. What kind of good son would allow his mother to be broken up, full of misery? No good son would do such a thing. They would take care of their mama. Why? Because she took care of him. But a foolish son, he'll watch his mother be broken up. Watch her full of misery. Yeah, she just making the wrong choices. Yeah, she just this. And she say, my mother just that. In the book of Proverbs 15, watch what it says. See, mama, they run down to the jailhouse, sending money down to their sons, talking to their sons, going to see their sons, trying to take care of their kids, all kind of things. But you think the sons care? No, they don't care. You think that's going to teach them even more to love their mamas? No. They'll come out and do the same exact thing. Because they, mama, I thought you was going to put some money on my books. No, they still show they not, they don't appreciate. They show that they don't have no gratitude. And why? Because they foolish. Watch what it says in the book of Proverbs 15. 20th verse. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son, a foolish man, despises his mother. What kind of fool that despises his mother? He's not going to say he despises his mother, but his actions show he despises his mother. his actions. And today, we got some foolish sons today. Some very foolish sons. Why do you think a lot of mothers today are in the streets crying because they sons that got shot down by the police? And make no mistake about it, the mass majority, if not all of them, none of them deserve to die. But also make no mistake about it, many of them was very foolish. Proverbs 20. And I know that's hard to hear, but our sons, they're not like they used to be. That's why the scriptures tell you to remember the Lord our mother. Your mother going to tell you, look, you don't need to be hanging out there. You don't need to be with these certain friends. You don't need to go to so-and-so place. You don't need to this. You don't need to that. That ain't what you do. Get your education. They're going to try to tell you the right thing. But no, you think you know more than your mother. In the book of Proverbs, the 20th chapter, the 20th verse, whoever curses his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out in obscure darkness, and it should. Yahweh don't like it. And it should be put out in darkness. You have no value if you don't have no honor, no respect for the one that you came out of. She carried you in her body. And that ain't enough to honor her. I don't care if she didn't teach you nothing. She carried you for 9 months. Again, just a couple more scriptures. Proverbs 29. I want you to see this. We're talking about the law of thy mother. Because when a man leave his father and his mother, he shall cleave unto his wife. And who going to teach this man about a wife? Who going to teach this man about a woman? Who going to teach this man about the order of life? First and foremost, yes, the father going to instruct him. Yes, the father going to command him. Yes, the father is going to take hold to him and show him what it means to be a man. But it's the mother that lays the foundation of all men. She lays the foundation. In the book of Proverbs 29, the 15th verse, and this is one of the biggest problems that mamas have right here. Watch what it says. The rod and reproof, it gives wisdom. But a child left to himself brings his mother to shame. Why mother? Because you wouldn't whoop his tail. Because you spent the most time with him. You know I'm out the house. You in the house with him. And then every time I come home, every day he getting more foolish and foolish and more foolish and foolish. And you won't put the rod on him. You think you hurt me. But you ain't hurt him at all. All you doing is hurting yourself. All you doing is hurting the fact that when he get old, he's not going to be prepared for life. You got to put the rod and reproof. See, if it just said reproof, then you can say, well, that just means correction. Well, what do the rod mean? You got to lay something on his tail. And most mothers' heart too soft to do such a thing. They think they hurting the child. But they hurting the child if they don't. That's why it says, but a child left to himself brings his mother to shame. And you'll see it. We see it today. A lot of these kids ain't get whoopings. They got everything they want. All the various games, all the shoes, all the clothes. And what did they do to get them shoes, them clothes, them games? What did they do to go on them trips? Nothing. They did nothing. They didn't earn it at all. But it was given to them. Now what have they learned? They don't got to do nothing to get what they want. And the last scripture in the book of Proverbs 30. The 17th verse. The eye that mocks at his father and despises to obey his mother. The ravens of the valley shall pick it out. The young eagles shall eat it. And in other words, this thing is so terrible, so bad. We got a law in Israel that if you raise a child and he become a drunkard, a glutton, and refuses to obey his father and his mother, do you realize, according to our laws, we're to stone them to death? We're not even supposed to send a unruly, unkept, a child that is rebellious in this manner. We don't even supposed to send them out into the community. We're supposed to get rid of a child like that won't obey his father and his mother. You think he's going to listen to his teachers? You think he's going to listen to the police? You think he's going to listen to the neighbors? You think he's going to listen to responsible business leaders? You think he's going to listen to anybody? No, he's not. He didn't even listen to his father or his mother. So he's not going to listen to anybody else in the community, and I don't care who that is. So the mothers have to take their responsibility back and begin to raise their sons by law. By law. And in closing out, just want to read this. Even in the world, the animal kingdom, these laws are still relevant. In other words, even the mothers got to raise. It's not the father that raised the little cubs. It's not the men birds that raise the little chickens. It's the mothers. Watch what this says in the book of Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter, the 6th verse. It says, if a bird's nest chances to be before you in the way, in any tree or on the ground, whether they are young ones or eggs, and the mother sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, you shall not take the mother with the young, but you shall in any wise let the mother go and take the young to you, that it may be well with you and that you may prolong your days. This is how important a mother is. Yahweh say if you even see some food, you see this bird, you might look at this bird and then you look at these eggs and then you say, man, these eggs ain't going to fill me up. I'm gonna just leave the eggs and I'm going to take the mother and I'm going to cook her and eat me some chicken. No, Yahweh said, man, you better let that mother go and take the eggs. And why? Because this is the mother. Don't you have any honor, any respect, any wisdom at all for thy mother? The law of thy mother. This is what we got to get back to. And we got to get back to raising our children ourselves and sending them out of our house at the right appointed time for the right appointed reasons. The law of thy mother. So until tomorrow, Yahweh love you, and so do I. Shalom.
Those who said we couldn't keep your laws in the land of our captivity, we here to show them different. Let's go.
No matter what they say, I wanna praise Yahweh. Wherever I go, the world will always know.
This is a Samuel Beats production.
This one here is for y'all, put your hands up. And if you down for the cause, please stand up. To all the weak and faint-hearted brothers, man up. And all the virtuous daughters, keep your head up. Remember when I used to read stories of famous black inventors? Most of them ain't get the credit, a Millie just wasn't mentioned. Told us that we came from monkeys and evolution beginning. Never knew that Elohim created all of existence to one day I was given. Malachi from Genesis, and every sentence contains our history in it. Before it's visually smitten, that image clear as a prism. My people here in this prison because the way we was living. And still today, man, we tripping. Got the nerve repenting, saying you can't keep the laws outside of the place it was given. Daniel the slave was forbidden to keep it, but still he did it. It was written, remember the law of Moses. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it.
I wanna praise Yahweh. Wherever I go, the world will always know.
This is a Samuel Beats production.
I know, what I say gon' get shunned like the shade, but I shine like a ray from the sun. Whether the clouds or ray of the rain has begun, make way, here I come. Walking in your name, I proclaim to our sons who's the true and living king that reigns up above. Ancient the days, I'ma boast in your fame till your greatness is sprung. Like waiting to get married to a mate and making love. Never patient when it come to giving praises to my judge. I would've fainted if I didn't think I'd make it when it's done. The grass wither if the flower fade. The word of Yah is forever. Malachi 3:6, he'll never change. Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah slaves. They faced death to keep the laws and walk through the flames. Came out without a single scar on their frame. If it was good enough for them, then I'ma do the same.
What they say.